Hi everyone, here we are again for another Hatton's live stream, and today we are taking a closer look at the magnificent O-Gauge Class 50 diesel from Heljan. Now, these are a pretty new release, came out late 2019. There's quite a few different variations available of these iconic diesel locomotives that have operated in the UK for over 50 years now. And we'll be taking a closer look at the model. We'll be showing you some of the features. We'll be discussing a little bit of the history as well. So if you have any particular questions regarding the model or the Class 50s, do let me know in the chat there, and we'll cover some of them too. But taking a closer look at this model, and Heljan have released a lot of O-Gauge diesels over the past 15 years, and this is one of the latest they've brought out, and their skill in this area really can be seen in the Class 50 as well. This particular example, number 50008 Thunderer, is in the late 1980s livery of departmental blue. There was 4 locomotives painted in this livery, including this particular example. So this is a great loco to get out there if you're wanting freight as well as passenger duty. But covering some of the history of the Class 50s, these locomotives were delivered in 1967 and 1968, firstly for use on the West Coast Main Line between Crewe, Preston and Glasgow, working in double on trains before they electrified the route in the mid-1970s. They did sometimes get around other parts of the Northwest too in that time, but once the wires went up and locomotives such as the Class 86 and Class 87 were introduced to the route instead, the locomotives were transferred to the west of England, where they hauled express services from London Paddington right down into Devon and Cornwall there as well as duties heading to Birmingham along the Thames Valley and London to Exeter running out of Waterloo as well. And they ran on that until about the mid-1990s. There's 18 of them preserved, and you can still see them around and about on the main line today as well. And Heljan's model, as said, really one of the best O-Gauge diesels. You've got the usual items in there. You've got the 2 heavy 5-pole motors, both with huge brass flywheels in there. These locomotives in real life had 2,700 horsepower, so they were capable of hauling a heck of a lot, and so are the Heljan models as well. You can get them on quite a few rakes of Mark 1s or Mark 2 coaches if you have a large O-Gauge layout, and they'll perform absolutely no issues for you there. So we'll take a closer look. I'll just point that towards the camera. You will notice as well that it comes supplied on a heavy wooden case, and this is absolutely fantastic for transit. As you'll see there, no issues with the loco upside down, all around. It keeps it fully secure on that base, so none of your parts will fall off or it won't be damaged while it's being moved. But I'll let you get a bit of a close-up. As we've come to expect with Heljan, the quality and detail of the printing and the colour scheme as well is absolutely spot on for the various different details on this locomotive. You've got the rich BR blue livery there. You've got the printed nameplate as well with the Thunderer emblem above it. You've also got the numbers and the data panel on the cab side as well, including the white wall tyres on the bogies. So really impressive model when it comes to decoration, and a really impressive model when it comes to running. But again, you can see a lot of the details here, all separately applied. I'll show you again the front one more time. You can see the separately applied windscreen wipers, jumper cables on there. You also get some extra details in the back, which I'll show you shortly, but a lot of the buffer beam detail is pre-applied too. You've got full directional lighting. You've got the lights in the form of head code panels at the top. You've got your white and red lights in the middle and the high intensity there as well. Again, full cab interior, you can just about see there too. So really impressive model, and they are very, very weighty as well. They come in at just over 3 kilos, and it really gives the model presence, I think. Not quite so much in the BR blue livery here, but if we switch liveries, I've got 3 to show you today, and these all show how the locos got more colourful in the 1980s. And this is one that really does divide opinion among some people. but I'm a bit of a fan of it. This is the original Network Southeast livery brought in 1987 on these locomotives. Quite a few were supplied in this colour and ran into the 1990s as well. And the bonus you'll see with this one, along with a lot of Heljan diesels that come available, is it's not supplied with any numbers. You do get the full Network Southeast brand in there, but no name, no numbers, so you can recreate any of the class that you wish. There were 50 locomotives in total, and all of them had names relating to famous battleships and warships as well. Just take a quick look at the comments there. So great to see so many people here as well. You're right there, Chelmswood. The livery we just showed on number 8, as it's sometimes known, is known as Lara Blue, as they were painted at Lara Depot in the southwest of England, but also departmental blue as well. And it is harking back to that original BR blue that the locomotives were delivered in the late 1960s. But things got a little bit brighter when it came to Network Southeast. You've got the correct shade of blue on there as well as the swish with the grey and the red there too. Taking another look at some of the details which are really picked out on this. You've got the fully working fan there as well. You've got the separately fitted body side grills. Again, full cab interior, full bogie detailing there as well. This model is recommended for a radius of up to 6 feet. So it can't get around the tightest of curves, unfortunately, but with such a large diesel locomotive, that's not really a surprise, shall we say. So again, we did say I'd let you know what was in the pack, and here you are. So this is the set detailing pack. You've got 2 pairs of snow plows in there, should you wish to fit those to your front of your locomotive. You have the pods for the radio system on the roof, which the locomotives were fitted in their final days. So again, just to make it that little bit more authentic. You've also got some of the additional cabling there, including the electric train heating cable just by the end of my finger there as well. So a lot of the details come pre-supplied, but if you really want to go to town and put more on these, you can do as well. Again, as we know of a lot of Heljan's models now, really great instruction manual there too, giving you a little bit more of the history of the locomotives and also a guide to fitting some of the details, taking off the body, and a full spares list on the back as well. The models start with digital ready. They do have screw terminals for a wired decoder inside them, and it's recommended to use an XL decoder, either the Locksound or other brands as well. But there is space for a large speaker in there too, so that's in the chassis. The chassis itself is fully die-cast as well. As we said before, they tip the scales at just over 3 kilos, so you'll have absolutely no issues with these hauling any loads on your layout. I'll just switch over to the third livery I've brought for you today. And this again is another bright and vibrant colour, but this particular loco is a one-off. It's the only Class 50 that was ever painted in this, what they call the civil engineers livery. It's very similar to the colour scheme used by the Dutch railway system, so it was also known as Civil Engineers Dutch. And number 50015, Valiant, was painted in this livery just before withdrawal to work mainly with 50008 Thunderer. And they were paired a lot in the early 1990s, worked on various rail tours and other duties and became real fan favourites in that time. And both of those models, Valiant and Thunderer, are actually Hatton's exclusive as well. So if you do like those models or the Network Southeast or some of the other liveries that are available, you can click that link in the description and find out more and order them now. They start at £525, which for this size of locomotive, nearly 2 feet long as well, over 3 kilos, you've got every feature you could imagine in here as well. It really is a bargain price to get one of these express locomotives on your layout. So does it feature an opening door? It does not, I'm afraid, no, but it does feature, again, I'll try and get it right up close to the camera for you. You can see the full cab interior there as well. Fortunately, the desk is a little bit hard to get in the shot. I'll give it a go. But there is a full driver's desk in there too. And of course, you can fit your own locomotive crew and driver. So a lot of the details there, again, it starts as a really detailed model, but it's a great opportunity for you to get your tools out, maybe change the name or on one of the unnumbered examples, as we had before in the Network Southeast livery there. Get some transfers and choose your own locomotive. As with these being named after battleships and warships, there's some absolutely fantastic names to choose from. You've got Valiant, you've got Thunder, as we had before as well, and even some of the other names carried by the class which break the mold a little bit, such as Sir Edward Elgar as well. So there's a lot of great opportunities to pick something really powerful and purposeful to name these locomotives. Engineers' wagons to go with them as well. Just had that question in the chat, and there is a lot more models than you'd think actually to run with these in O gauge. Engineers' wagons, great point to go, especially with Valiant or the Engineers Blue, as we had with Thunderer before. Dapol's O gauge turbot wagons were commonly paired with Class 50s in real life into the late 1980s. You've also got some of the bogie bolsters too, which may have appeared with them earlier in their lives also. If you're more of a fan of passenger stock, I would really recommend having a look at Heljan's Mark 1s and Mark 2s, as well as Dapol's Mark 1 coaches as well, in the BR blue and grey liveries for the 1970s, and then coming through into your Intercities and your Network Southeasts in the 1980s and 1990s. But there's some great items to pair these with as well, some really good formations out there. And it's not always the longest trains either, even though they are large, originally express passenger locomotives. They were seen with some fairly short rakes of maybe 4 or 5 coaches and some small engineers rakes towards the end of their lives too. So you can have a large locomotive with not too many vehicles behind it, should you have a smaller layout. But as we touched on, it's not going to have a problem hauling trains big or small as well. And again, just to show you some more of the details we didn't quite see before, you can see there, especially as I'm moving it around, you can see the separate bogie chains there as well. They are completely separate as they are in real life. And this is the level of detail you can only really get to in O gauge, especially with all the bogie springs there as well. And again, we've had a comment already saying the rather derisory nickname for this, which is the toothpaste livery as well. It had some fans, but also some people not a fan of the Network Southeast livery, but Heljan have really covered the length and breadth of what you can get available, covering the whole lifespan of the Class 50 from the original BR Blue right through the large logo as well into some more of the one-off liveries such as the Engineers Dutch, as we have here as well. So again, if you're looking for the full range of liveries we can offer on these, do click that link in the description where all of them are available to order. As ever, you get even more details here. I could spend a long time going on about the various different details, but just to show some more of the points there, you've got your sprung buffers. You've also got the fully working screw link coupling there as well. You've got the separately fitted wiper blades, also separately fitted cabside handrails, separately fitted glazing, separately fitted everything really. You've got your sandboxes, your sand pipes, full underframe detail there too. So even up close or far away, they are a great looking locomotive. And with O gauge becoming an ever growing market as well, it's just a fantastic opportunity to get a large locomotive such as this. Any of your modelers from right at the end of the 1960s until the present day really has got an excuse for one of these Class 50s as well, especially if you're a fan of the English electric with the characteristic 16-cylinder sound that these locomotives have too. You can add your own sound chip, as we mentioned before. There's space for a speaker in there as well to really recreate that iconic sound that these locos are known and appreciated for. Just take a glance at the chat as well. So again, there's Chelmsford Junction just saying Ark Royal as well. You've got 50035. Again, some fantastic names you can add to these. And with most of them being supplied unnumbered, you can choose your own identities as well. And this is just one of many O gauge diesel locomotives that's available at the moment. There's various different types, all of classic diesels from across the UK diesel scene, 1950s to the current day. You have other English electric locomotives such as the Class 31 and the Class 40 and the Class 37. You have some of the smaller Sulzer locomotives such as the Class 25 and the larger ones such as the 47 as well. A whole fleet of the Western hydraulic locomotives, famous in the west of England in the 1960s, as well as from the likes of Dapol, you can get the smaller 08 shunters and a lot of the freight and passenger stock as well. So if you are a diesel modeler, it really is a time to start looking at O gauge when you can get models of this quality and this finesse as well, with a lot of the details there. I'll just bring the Network Southeast loco back into the shot so you can really get a close-up appreciation of how finely this livery is applied, with the swoosh at the end, the completely authentic Network Southeast branding there as well. It's really good to hold, especially when it's on that wooden base as well. It really is secure on there too. So that's about it from me today, guys. Just thought I'd show you some larger O gauge for a change, especially with models like this and of this quality being available as well. As ever, do click the link in the description if you like this and you want to see a little bit more information. You can get in touch with our customer experience team as well, who will answer any further questions you have on this model and others. But otherwise, hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at the Class 50. Hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at some O gauge models, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.